let's go to Amazon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little swoon, not gonna lie. Um, I tweeted some things that almost, again, I mean, I got to be neutral, but you got to be kind of like almost a little bit of a fanboy about some of the
I mean,
numbers.
I'm wondering too, Dan, with all this Mag 7 action, how do you compete as a smaller company? I
You
mean,
don't.
how?
I don't think you do. That's why I said they can buy in any market they want.
I got to tell you, current course and speed, these companies are going to get broken up.
Well,
They are.
they are, but they aren't, because
Yeah.
they will. But a ruling doesn't actually break them up. As we've seen, it takes a long time to break them up. And by the way, the interwebs, unlike telephone poles, how do you break this up? How do you break up the Apple ecosystem? How do you break up the Amazon ecosystem in a way that's, by the way, not harmful to the consumer itself? And that's why I said the bifurcation of consumer harm and competition has never had more of a diametrically opposed force right now than it does. People like iOS. They want to use their Amazon advertising. They want the benefit of its supply chain and its networks and its price efficiencies. They want to be able to use search, and they want it to work well. But at the same time, it's making it impossible for companies to come in and build things that are competitive. And you know what the litmus test will be? It'll be the perplexities. Can they actually come in with a good product, enter a market, and meaningfully grow? Can they even be acquired if they want to be? And who could acquire them? Who's even allowed to play in that game? And I don't know. So let's just hit on, because I don't disagree with you philosophically, Pat. I think you and I are aligned. I just don't know if they can actually do it, if they can actually break them up. It's the depth of the technology. I mean, Pat, these people can't even understand the code. These algorithms that run these things, like Europe's like, we think we're finding you because you're preferencing your own products. Okay, prove it. Prove that how that's working, because you got to actually be able to understand the algorithms, and then you actually have to be able to control them and know what they look like at the moment something's happening. It's very complicated. But Pat, here's the thing: is so Amazon as a whole, strong results. They forecasted, even though they had a 1 weekend less than normal between Thanksgiving and Christmas, still going to have very strong retail results.
Wait. Are we moving to Amazon?
Yeah, I already did.
Okay, well, the Chiron didn't move. I thought we were still talking about.
No, sorry.
No. Okay,
yeah, I'd moved. Are you with me? Everybody, don't worry.
I am now.
This is like a Pat calendaring thing. I didn't give him the calendar event. He couldn't keep moving. Pat, we've calendared over. We're on Amazon now. I'm kidding.
Daniel, I think you've learned in the last 48 hours the importance of calendaring.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Cost us a Lambo. Anyway,
Are you kidding? A third of a Lambo.
Third of a new one, but it could definitely be a used one. Anyways, the net is Amazon. So as I was saying, they have a shortened period between the holidays. Doesn't seem to be affecting them. The retail forecasts look good. Advertising juggernaut. And that's what I said, like, what are you going to break up Google and then all the ads go to Meta and Amazon? I mean, what happens? It doesn't like they're going to go to DuckDuckGo. I mean, the net of it is that we're seeing advertising move in new directions. AI is changing these platforms. People are, adding AI into these sort of social experiences, and the numbers just keep running in a really great direction. Pat, no, the AWS number, which is a hot topic, was 19%. Now, how do you sort of negotiate in your mind that number when you got 34, 35%? But you've got law of large numbers. So they actually, by the total revenue amount being about twice the size of the other two clouds, they actually grew by the same amount of billions, but they didn't grow by the same amount of percentage. And inevitably, that means market share gains. Now, we also know that nobody reports the same way. Amazon doesn't stuff its number with a whole bunch of its own product. It doesn't have its own big cloud, productivity application suite that are all in their numbers. And so that's a little different than the others. And that's obviously impacting growth, that they don't have that all inside of one number. And by the way, when you look at Microsoft's intelligent cloud number, it's more like 22% versus its Azure number, which is bigger because it contains more parts. That's been a problem for a long time for people to understand. It remains a problem. But Pat, let's put the growth aside. I think that there is obviously, people are not going to be, well, people are loving this number, but people will always use the comparisons in some way to talk about market share. But what about the profit margin? 38%, Pat, on a $27.5 billion quarter. They made $10.5 billion in profit. Now, this isn't like hawk tan good, but it's getting there. It's really, really good income contribution from its cloud business. And, there was other things. I think Andy Jassy said on the call, don't quote me, I think he said triple-digit % gains in AI impact. I just don't know what the baseline is for that. So, we had the $10 billion number from Microsoft. What I want to hear is, what does that mean? Because, it could be like it went from $1 to $3, and that's triple-digit % growth. We know that's not the case, but what I guess I'm getting at is between hardware, software, silicon, instances, cloud, serverless, all the things that they're doing where AI is impacting their businesses. What does that number look like? I'd really love to know that. You actually spent time with Matt Garman twice. We got him on our pod. Check out that episode if you haven't already. But I'm going to leave it here because I know we're at time, and I need to give you a few minutes to chime in on this too. Pat, it was a really good quarter. Amazon is a juggernaut for sure across the board. And to your point on the last one is these companies are so powerful, they're so strong, and they're so diversified. It's hard not to like them, especially because they trade at a much lower forward than, like, say, Apple.
Yeah, I'm going to focus on AWS here. Just, those margins are astronomical. And I remember, my mental model has always been 30% op inc, but, the 30, 39%, 38% is just completely astronomical at a point that you're investing. And I know R&D is below the line, but there's a lot of expense above the line. What are you smiling at?
I just saw a funny thing pop up.
Okay, a lot of investment that goes into COGS for AI, and I actually met with Andy. Sorry, not met with Andy. Matt Garman on Monday. There are some things I can't talk about. There are some things I can talk about, and we did talk about the growth rate and the law of large numbers. I mean, if you look at the quarterly increase that they have, either year over year or quarter over quarter, it is larger by a very large factor of any of their next closest competitors. But the fact that they ripped out the growth that they did, given that scale, is pretty amazing. I do think that Microsoft got the jump on generative AI. AWS got the jump on Microsoft for machine learning. They have more machine learning customers than Microsoft. I also think, I appreciate you correcting me in a podcast that we did, where I said, "Hey, generative AI is a marathon," and I think you said it was a sprint, or you reminded me
it was a race.
It was
that marathons are races.
Yeah, no, I appreciate getting checked by you live all the time. But
does that hurt your feelings? You gonna be okay? I know you're skinnier now, but don't be small. Okay.
I need my mommy. But anyways, I let's just say that AWS or Amazon was later. Doesn't matter. When you're Microsoft and you jumped on the AI bandwagon, freaking intelligent, way to get this going. As we talked about Google, they essentially invented generative AI with the first research paper on it. Had a lot of stumbles, decided not to get into it. But people shouldn't read too hard into this AWS late with generative AI. I think it is noise. That, by the way, that's not to take anything away from Microsoft. They deserve a lot of freaking credit for that. I just don't know long term if it's going to.
And let's be clear, Pat. There is a buy, build, and sort of hybrid model. Like, Microsoft was smart on the buy of buying their way in with OpenAI and being able to go really fast. Google built, and Amazon kind of is doing something kind of in between, because it's been building silicon and building network and building, like. So what I'm saying is, like, each just sort of take a different approach.